Hi, I'm Linda Padgett, and this is the Living Christian Virtue Series. Today, our virtue is flexibility. Flexibility. The opposite of flexibility is resistance. Now, let me tell you, I am by nature, or at least when I was young, a very flexible person. I could do splits like nobody's business. I could do the front ones and then rotate my hips without even getting off the ground into the sideways one, and then rotate my hips into the other one. And boy, have my hips paid for it since then. But I was always a very, very, very flexible person. When the cheerleaders needed the person to be on top doing the split, that was me. And I took karate for years, and in karate, flexibility is a great quality because you can kick really, really high, or you can sit really, really low in your stances. But physical flexibility is very different than flexibility within your person, within your personality. And that is where I've never been great. I am by nature not a very flexible person. I'm very type A. I like to do things by the book. I like to do things orderly, and I often feel like I'm the one who has the best idea of how things should be done, very orderly and organized. And when something comes against that, I don't like it. Now, I have the great pleasure of being married to a guy who, he likes to say his personality type is type Q. That probably is true. If there is a type Q, it's him. He is the absolute opposite of a type A personality, me. But I love him. They say opposites attract, and I think they do. And through the years, we've been married now almost 27 years. And through those years, we have balanced each other quite a bit. I think I've probably become more flexible than he's become more organized. But I do see some improvement in his order and organization. But we have these stories that we like to tell when it comes to the way we've learned and grown and changed through our marriage, specifically in this virtue of flexibility. Years ago, when our oldest two children were very young, we took them to the happiest place in all the world, Walt Disney World. We lived in Florida, so to go to Disney was pretty easy. Expensive, but pretty easy. And we went with another family, and as soon as we walked into the main gates of the main street of Disney World, after you get off the ferry, it is a magical, magical place. And my feet hit the ground running. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I'm like, okay, if we go first to Tomorrowland, we do this ride first, and then we go this ride and do this ride next, and I had it all planned out. My husband looks at me. We have the double stroller with the two kids in it. He looks at me and wonders, what are you talking about? Let's just kind of walk and see what happens. This is a special day. The kids are gonna want to just explore. Let's just kind of go and see. But I'm thinking, no, I don't want to wander in the wrong direction and end up having to stand in line for 3 hours in one of the rides that if we had hit it first, it would have been a quick standing in line. We sat there in that front part there, Main Street, Walt Disney World, and had a full-blown out argument. We're going at it with each other, fighting. My poor sister-in-law and brother-in-law are hiding their eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with these two? We totally did not see eye to eye, and we survived the day, whatever. But that's just how we clashed on so many things. I wasn't flexible. He was a little too flexible, in my opinion. But whatever. It's just my lack of flexibility just did not help the situation at all. Fast forward years later, and my husband, wonderful guy, took me on a trip to Rome. And the Eternal City, that city is amazing. It is packed full of so much history, so much culture. It's just beautiful. And we had quite a few days there. We were there a total of 15 days, and we were staying in a little apartment outside the city center. And of course, every day we would wake up and I would have the agenda. I knew we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do that. We need to see the Colosseum, we need to see the ruins, we need to see this church, and we need to see the Vatican, like all these things that we need to do. And I just knew that if I let him go at it free form, we wouldn't see any of the things we really wanted to see, in my opinion. But I'd learned by that point. I had learned a little bit of the virtue of flexibility. And so I said to him, I said, okay, here's how we're going to run the day. I'm going to get us to the specific area of town that's going to have the ruins and the Colosseum. I don't care what we do during the day. I don't care. You can meander all you want. We will wander into whatever shops, whatever churches, whatever you want to do. We're going to meander as long as we're working towards the direction of the Colosseum. And that is how we managed to survive our 15 days in Rome without a huge fight. I'd learned the flexibility of giving and taking and allowing things to ebb and flow. And so I'm so glad I did on that trip, because you know why? It was in those moments of allowing things to happen. We happened upon a certain church, or we happened to be on a certain shop, that we had some of the best experiences. Really, the best experiences of the entire trip happened in those moments when I allowed him to be free and do what he likes to do, wander. And he worked with me. We made it to the Colosseum. We made it to those events, those places that I wanted to make it on those specific days. That's flexibility. It takes a long time, I think, for us to develop that virtue well. Some of us are more natural at it. In a lot of these virtues, you'll find that. Some of us have a more natural tendency towards these virtues. Flexibility is not one of my natural tendencies. It is more so with my husband. But in the end, we both have grown. We both have learned to see each other's side and work within the context of each other. And we have great experiences as a result. So there you go. Be flexible. Doing splits is not so important. But knowing when to give and when to let things go, you don't know. Maybe the surprise will be so much better than the plans that you had intended. Go grow in virtue.